What
it
do you
us?
know?
Is it us? We're back?
Oh my gosh.
Yes, that is right, everybody. As I think we already said on the...
Where did Justin go?
Yeah, as I think we already said on the little live thing we did about a week or two ago now, I'm coming back for a second season of Critical Hits for anyone who knows the show.
I forgot that we did that. I genuinely forgot we went on air and talked about specialty shows.
First Justin show, and now this show is back too. It's like Christmas.
It's great for anyone who loves it, and torture for anyone who hates it, I guess. Oh well, I love it. I have fun.
I do.
So we'll take care of all the business first. The views, comments, and opinions expressed on this show are those of individuals and not necessarily shared by Griffin Radio, the Media Communications Department, Grossmont College, or the Grossmont-Cuyamaca Community College District. This podcast is copywritten by Griffin Radio and Grossmont College 2019. Thank you.
Thanks.
So,
you.
I am back with my show. I am DJ Keen, and I am back again with one of my co-hosts from last semester.
DJ B. Millie, that's me.
And we are being joined at the very least today, but maybe even for a lot of episodes, because it seemed like you're available for the time period that we're doing it in.
This is true.
He's the
So we are joined today by
DJ Supremus.
Yeah, I basically just grabbed Justin's hosts and
basically
strapped them down. I just strapped them down to their seats
and
kept them here with me.
They didn't have to know that you...
We live here intermittently. We sleep in the chairs just in front of the mics.
Yep. So, last semester, we had a lot of great games and a lot of great music that we got a chance to go over.
Yes.
But I had managed to put together pretty much an entire episode last semester that was completely inspired by the fact that B. Millie loves it so much.
Then I missed it.
And then we get to the day of, and it turns out he was sick or had work or something. What was it?
I was really sick. I think I had my tonsils like swelled to make me look like I was in one of those like B movie fat suits.
Oof.
They were just like hanging. So yes, it was a very fun time to not only have to deal with that but miss one of my favorite games of all time.
I know.
It's so good.
Unfortunately, it was a little too late for me to change what we were doing that day.
Yeah, I specifically came to do it with you too.
It's okay. I'm not even mad about it.
I love Kingdom Hearts very much, but I was like, I get to be on the show with Brandon and Steven.
I'm not even mad that I missed Kingdom Hearts.
I'm not even mad.
I don't care.
So last semester, like we were saying, we covered Kingdom Hearts 1, and it was all like the 1.5 Final Remix HD, blah, blah, blah. Kingdom Hearts always has big jumbled names like that.
Yes.
Yep.
So today we're going to be covering Kingdom Hearts 2, which again is basically the 2.5 HD Final Remix, all that nonsense again. Although this time around, I don't know if the fact that it's the final remix actually has anything to do with the music I'm playing. It might have been a little reorchestrated and things of that sort, but I don't think they added any new songs that I've got on my list, at least.
In my opinion, Kingdom Hearts 2, I have played 1, 2, and 3. All great games. To this exact moment, it is still the best game in the franchise.
I have yet to play 3, but I have a feeling I'm going to feel the same
3 is fantastic, and I think it's good because, without giving spoilers, it wraps up a lot of storylines that had loose ends.
Oh, for sure. That's
good.
I
ended up getting 3 almost the day it came out. I had it pre-ordered or whatever.
I got the date.
I'm broke, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen,
brother. Amen.
One of the biggest things I really like about 3 is one of the biggest, I guess you could call them faults that some people had with 1 and 2, which was, as we said before, this is a like Final Fantasy Disney kind of crossover type of game. And so you have Disney characters, you go to Disney worlds, you do all that sort of stuff. So in 1 and 2, most of the times when you're going to a Disney world, you're pretty much just reliving the storyline from the movie.
Yes.
And in a lot of ways that's okay, but a lot of people saw it as like a lesser version because they couldn't get all the music rights or all the voice actors, and a lot of the worlds could feel a little empty in comparison to like the movie itself.
Gotcha.
So one of the things I really loved when I was playing Kingdom Hearts 3 is that there's only a couple of worlds that do that you go to, where you're reliving the storyline of the movie. Most of the Disney worlds you go to are like sequels to the movies.
Can I just say that literally the only thing I've seen from Kingdom Hearts 3 is the like Frozen like Let It Go scene where they like it's shot for shot, but they reanimated the whole thing, so they fixed the stupid like hair thing that happens in the movie where like her hair like phases through her shoulder and they fixed it. It was so good.
Yeah.
One thing I really love about that though is you like you're saying, you get like shot for shot the Let It Go scene from the movie, except that every so often, every 20, every 30 or so seconds, you get a cutaway to these three idiots just standing around doing like surprise faces and like, what's going on, right? So
What's
Donald
that
and
beautiful
Goofy
voice?
being like, huh?
I think I hear Elsa.
Yeah.
What's that beautiful voice?
So good.
Honestly, though, I'd say in my opinion, if I had to rank them at this exact point from best to worst, even though none of them are bad or worst, I'd give it 2, 3, then 1.
For sure.
2, 3, then 1 in my opinion. Because 3, don't get me wrong, amazing, great updated graphics, but without giving any spoilers, as a game, they kind of made things easy. They really like spoon-fed you a lot of like extra powers and abilities.
In some ways.
In some ways,
but it's
in
also
my opinion, it was just much easier and much less of a challenge. Like I didn't get that satisfaction of, you know, there was a boss that killed me 13 times and I finally beat it because I finessed it. It was like, oh, I have a couple of input commands that can make me get there, and it's, don't get me wrong, still challenging, but in my opinion, less challenging than 2 was, but 2
for sure.
2 gave me like Valor form, Master form, like Final form, and then oh my gosh!
I think that's part of the reason that 3 comes off as maybe too easy, much easier or whatever. Is the fact that they bundle up kind of all the powers you've had in all the different games, not even just 1 and 2, but all the different games over the years. Yeah, since they have like, was it like 14 or 15 games in the series now? Something like that.
Including their mobile and handheld versions,
So you don't just get normal Keyblades, you don't even just get Valor form and all that. From 2, you end up getting like the transformations dropped over to the Keyblade side rather than your own character side. And then they also add in like Shot Lock and all these other things from other games.
And to get back to the, you know, the purpose of the show, the music, because it's such a big sequel and because this was such a largely anticipated game, I think from my understanding they got a lot more rights to the actual Disney music than they did in previous games, because before, I mean, Kingdom Hearts 1 was kind of a niche thing. Then Kingdom Hearts 2 was like less niche, but it was also like in that time where you couldn't really spread the word. And now it's been so long since this one, and this is so much build up to like this big fan thing, that they were like, yeah, just, we know people are going to buy it, just funnel whatever we can into it, because we know it's going to make money.
That's one of the interesting things, is they got the rights to a decent amount of the music for the first game. Like I had played the little splice I did during our first Kingdom Hearts one, which I have something similar this time to play with you guys on.
Yay.
And there was a lot of just almost like it was straight ripped from the movie music in there. So some of it was really easy for you guys to get, because it's like, oh yeah, that's obviously from the...
So amazing.
So they do a lot more with it in different ways, in that they can get the rights to some more music, but they also do more of like trying to develop their own music in the style of each world. And so I have a lot more of that for you guys today. So it won't be quite as easy to pick out, oh, this must be from this world, this must be from that, because it's more like our music in the style of the movie.
I see. Cool.
Okay.
I'm down.
No, I'm down regardless, but I'm just like,
It's not going to be as simple.
Because I hate being wrong, but I know it's going to happen.
So a bunch of our listeners who never played the games and may not be able to keep up with us as much, but I still welcome them to play along too.
But that was the impressive thing for me personally, was these movies that I had loved and these songs that, you know, are so famous and so well known, but Kingdom Hearts as a game also made their own original music for each of their original worlds, and I also remembered those too, because not only do I remember like Mulan soundtrack and like, you know, Ariel soundtrack from The Little Mermaid, but I also remember Twilight Town soundtrack, Hollow Bastion's soundtrack.
Oh yeah, the Kingdom Hearts original stuff.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts OG stuff.
I remember all of them, but my brain has like confused which ones go to what because of like how long it's been since I played them.
But it's still so quality that they can like keep up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we will be going on to our first set of music, but before we go on to our first set of music, we have one of our A students in to do news for you guys. So one of you guys is going to have to surrender your microphone really quickly.
I'll surrender it this time. It's all good.
Okay. So we are going to have Edmund here to read news for us in just a minute, and then we will go to our first block of music, which is kind of the first section of the game. And so from that, I have Missing You, which is a song that's sort of between a new character that we get introduced to and play as for a while. And, communicating with someone who's very close to the old character and all that. And then we have the 13th Struggle, which is our new character, Roxas, engaging in pretty much one of the most dangerous fights at the beginning of the game, which is very emotionally charged because it's an old friend of his, and they're struggling a lot with this fight. And then for the third song, we actually have the titular song, Roxas, which is his own song, and which closes out the section in which we'll play as Roxas, and then we jump over to a new character. And so for most of the game, that's the last time we see Roxas. So we will get to those songs right after. We won't come back in between, but first we'll have Edmund to read the news for you guys. So we will be right back. Welcome back.
Hello, hello, hello. So beautiful.
Indeed.
Oh, yeah. Great songs that ended up taking DJ Supremus way down memory lane.
Hey.
Hey, don't you do it.
Don't make me cry.
Good old Roxas. Quality character.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep. And I think the first character in the entire series who did 2 Keyblades, which is just edgelordy fun.
He's
sort of.
Yeah.
He's in the top 3. He's in the top 3.
Yeah.
He's not the favorite, but he's in the top 3.
No, I absolutely agree.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, for all the music for this game, we end up with the same people that worked on Kingdom Hearts 1, right? Yoko Shimomura was the composer for pretty much the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything. If it has the word Kingdom Hearts in the name, Yoko Shimomura probably composed the music for it. And Utada Hikaru probably did one of the main songs for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly for 1, 2, and 3. In a lot of the side games, the Birth by Sleeps and Dream Drop Distances, stuff like that, you end up finding that they tend to reuse Utada Hikaru's songs from other games, maybe remix them.
Yeah.
But the original ones that she does for each game is mostly for the mainline numbered ones,
Yeah.
which are great. And I definitely have another one of her songs for us today, which I'll be using as my outro.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Because she does something really great with like all of them. The ones she has in 3 are really interesting. A lot of people had this weird backlash because one of the intro one that she does for 3, she does with Skrillex.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was that
Yep.
song was a banger.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's amazing, and it's amazing for the intro to the game. But a lot of people are just like, "Oh, come on, Skrillex, blah blah blah, whatever." But the other song that she does for it is like the ending for the game is also just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't make it too dubsteppy. She didn't overpower him.
No.
It was a perfect
No, he
mix.
only really like drops the bass and hits you with some more dubstep parts, just like in the chorus sections of the song.
Yeah.
And that's all. And the rest is actually really kind of floaty and beautiful
Very
in a lot of
Utada.
ways.
Very Utada.
And so, as we said before, all the Kingdom Hearts stuff, it's Final Fantasy and Disney. And so you end up going to a lot of Disney worlds while meeting also a bunch of Disney characters as well as a bunch of Final Fantasy characters who all live in one world together.
Yes.
And as well as a bunch of original Kingdom Hearts characters and storyline, right? So that's the weird sort of like 3-pronged setup that you get in all the Kingdom Hearts games. You get stuff from Final Fantasy, all sort of shoehorned into one place, a bunch of stuff from Disney spread out all over, and then all the original stuff that you get for Kingdom Hearts.
And I'm telling you, no matter how much you play, no matter how much you think you know, the story's going to be confusing. If you're going in
It's
thinking,
true.
oh, I won't be able to follow the story, don't have that mind. Just play it. I mean, nobody understands it. I don't understand it.
Well, also, it's almost become like a meme for people to
Yeah.
say at this point.
Yeah.
Like, Kingdom
Yeah.
Hearts story is nonsense, just accept it. But the thing is, it's not
I wouldn't say
it's not
it's
as nonsense as
nonsense.
most people would think.
Yeah.
Kingdom
It's-
Hearts story is dense. Kingdom Hearts story is very, very deep. This is not a kiddie pool. It's a giant Olympic swimming
Honestly-
pool, and if you try and jump in at the deep end, you're probably going to drown.
It's just wild.
But if you get in
is wild.
slowly, you
It's
can
wild.
you can learn it all. I've learned
yeah.
pretty much everything there is to know about Kingdom Hearts story. I have pretty much all of it clear in my head. What's going on? Who's who? Who's doing
It's-
what?
Well,
all that
aren't
stuff.
you special,
Yeah.
Steven?
But I've spent time learning all of that. If I
Well,
tried to jump into Kingdom Hearts 3, I'd also be like, who are these people?
Well,
Yeah.
I feel like it's also more of like if you miss a detail, you're gonna miss like the whole thing. You
Oh,
gotta have
definitely.
every detail because like you can't. This isn't a thing where you can go from A to C. Like if you skip B, you're gonna wonder. Then that's gonna ruin C through Z. You
And
know?
the big
Yeah,
you
word.
can't
definitely,
skip. You
definitely.
can't skip a point or a letter. You gotta listen to the whole thing, and you can't zone out ever. And you gotta play every game because even
yeah.
the handheld games have important
That's
story
that's
stuff.
the big
so-
part. Is a lot of people who went straight for 1, 2, 3, talking about how it's just complete nonsense. It's like, well, that's because you didn't play them. Just because a Kingdom Hearts game doesn't have a number on it does not mean it's not a mainline Kingdom Hearts game. Does not mean
358
it's
over
not a
2.
sequel.
358 over 2,
Right?
Chain of Memories. All
I've heard
important
plenty
stuff.
of people saying Kingdom Hearts 3 is not the sequel to Kingdom Hearts 2. It's just not.
It's not.
No.
It's not.
No.
We have Birth by Sleep, which is extremely important, and that's a prequel to everything. We have Dream Drop Distance, which is pretty important. I'm not the biggest fan of it gameplay-wise, but the storyline is very important, and that is more like the direct sequel to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Although, honestly, that's more like a sequel to Recoded, which is more like a direct sequel to 2. And Recoded is I don't think like anyone played that game.
See, we're kind of losing track of the games themselves, let alone the story. It's hard to keep up with. So, to get back to the music and to kind of wrap up the thought, like, the story's complex. Don't go into it like hoping that you're gonna be like play 1, 2, and 3 and be like, oh, Sora, Donald, and Goofy go on adventures, and then she got taken, so now they have to go find her. It's not that easy.
It's not that simple.
Yeah.
They're gonna say some things that you're not gonna understand. They're gonna say some things that are like, how is that even possible?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
And then Mickey comes out of nowhere and is just awesome.
It's Disney. You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
Speaking of the Disney stuff, some of the things that they brought into 2, I enjoyed a whole lot. Like, they brought in a whole bunch of new worlds. It wasn't just revisiting the same places you went to before.
Yes.
I actually ended up getting a list of it here. Some of the worlds featured were in previous games reappear, where you're going to new or expanded areas within those worlds. But there are also completely new worlds that were introduced, and just some of these are Land of Dragons, that's Mulan.
Right, yeah.
Beast Castle from Beauty and the Beast. So Beast was in the first game, but not Beast Castle. You met Beast somewhere else. He joined your party. He helped you fight, but you weren't at his castle.
He was one of these things that helped you out, like called a summon. Basically, he
wasn't a summon in the first game. He was a party member.
Oh, really?
When Donald and Goofy get removed from your party at that point in the storyline,
You're
Beast joins
you.
you.
Right, yeah.
Right, they get removed from your party at a point in the storyline for a little while, and Beast joins you.
I think there's another world that you're going to say that pertains more to that, but continue with your list of new worlds.
It kind of makes sense because when you lose both of your other party members, they give you Beast, who just wrecks everyone.
Yeah.
Are we surprised?
He's like the most powerful party member you get in that entire game.
Yeah,
and
rightfully so.
Timeless River, which is Steamboat Willie, and that one's a little weird because it's not exactly like going to a different world. It's like going to a world and then traveling through time to like black and white days.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
And Port Royale, Pirates of the Caribbean.
I love Port Royale.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the Pride Lands from The Lion King.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Simba was a summon in the first game.
Simba was a summon, and then they gave him a world in the first. Basically,
which is funny because Sora, Donald, and Goofy show up magically transformed into like animals, so they can disguise themselves in this world. And Simba like jumps Sora and attacks like someone's invading, and then he takes a look at this weird little like tiger or lion cub little looking thing, and he immediately pictures the Sora from the first game in his mind because he recognizes him. He's like, is that you?
Yeah. Well, basically, as far as the game mechanics go, quick summary, there are a lot of Disney characters. A lot of Disney characters. Not all that can be fit into a single game because nobody has that kind of time.
True. Yeah.
So they would help you out and give you some of the characters that you love that didn't necessarily get their own world by you magically summoning them and helping you in a couple fights. You find them in like little keychains or like in little chests.
It's a big that's a big carryover from like the Final Fantasy series, having being able to summon gods or monsters or things like that in battle. So, and in the first game they explained it away as summons are people with such strong hearts that they couldn't fall to the darkness, but their world has. Yeah. Their world has fallen to the darkness and disappeared, but their heart was so strong that they survived. Pretty much. The second game, some similar stuff. In the third game, there's a different one. It's like some sort of weird link between your heart and theirs.
Yeah.
You don't even really go to their world or encounter them in any way. It's like suddenly you can pull them into your world to help you fight, sort of thing. And lastly, again, not really going to a different world, but going somewhere else in a world. Space Paranoids from Tron.
Right.
You don't go to a Tron world. Rather, you get pulled into a computer in a different world, and you're in Tron.
That level...
You forgot?
No. That's like one of the only levels I will literally never forget just because it took me so
about the light cycles?
long.
Talking about those light cycles?
Yeah, it took me so long to beat that.
Tron light cycles in Kingdom Hearts are like PTSD.
Yeah.
was bad.
So in 2, wasn't it like the left and the right buttons, and you're just turning
Well,
90
yeah,
degrees?
Well,
each
no,
time?
they had
It
these left
was-
and right buttons, so you'd like run towards a wall and you turn. But you also had these like little. The enemies in the game are called Heartless, so they'd like roll up on these little cycles,
Yeah.
and depending on the color would depend on what input you would need to
Oh,
crash
yeah,
into
yeah.
them with, because you could
Yeah.
either spin,
Yeah.
block, or charge at them.
They were color coordinated, and you had
Yep.
like 3 buttons
Yeah.
that were different types of attacks.
so
that
you're
coordinated to those
going and you're
colors.
like, okay,
And
got
you're,
it.
and
Green.
mind you, you're going like really fast.
Yeah.
You've got you've got your green, and then you block, and you're like, okay, dope. Got blue. Okay, I'm gonna throw my Keyblade at it. Sick. And then these white ones would come up. Sorry, blew out the mic. These white ones would come up, and they would do everything. So you just have
Yeah.
to wait for them to crash into you.
Yeah,
Oh my
or you have to
gosh.
try and
It
cut
was-
them
Sorry,
off.
I'm getting real heated
Like we
real
were saying,
fast.
Dude, I know.
Like we were
I
saying,
know.
the left and the
Getting
right
re-
buttons give you those hard 90-degree turns, like you get in the original Tron.
Yep.
So you'd have to like try and cut the white ones
It
off and make them blow up
was
into
And
your.
then-
so much.
Towards like halfway through, you're going down this aisle and you see the exit, and you're like, "Oh my god, I'm
Yep.
home free!" And it like walls it off and makes you
Uh-huh.
turn left.
That
It's like,
was
You're
always.
you're only about halfway through this
Yeah,
race.
that was always the
Yeah.
thing that like
agony.
messed me up. Was like halfway through, the wall would come down, and I was like, and
the
then I just
agony.
like, I would mess up like immediately after, just because I was so mad.
Anyway, back to the music of the game.
Anyway.
Sorry, getting real heated over
Sorry.
here. Back to the music.
Just never mention the Tron level around me, and we're good.
So upset.
Oh yeah. And normal flow, they obviously put Tron Legacy World into a game after that. I think that was Dream Drop Distance. They put Tron
Think so.
Legacy in.
Think so.
Yeah.
I believe so. I believe so.
Believe so.
Oh yeah, because I remember Riku talking to Flynn's son Sam, right? And trying to
Love of
help
my
him
life.
find his father, and he's trying to help Riku find Sora and all that stuff.
Riku is by far the best character in the series.
Oh.
You can fight me about it.
I agree.
Riku is the
Riku
best.
is my fave.
Riku is the best. No arguments are valid.
All right,
He's the best.
You
We-
can't change my mind.
we
Tell
will
me
go
I'm
into
wrong.
our second block of music. I have a couple of normal full-on songs for you guys.
Yay.
One, which has you going into the world that all the Final Fantasy characters exist in.
Is that
Mhm.
Hollow Bastion?
Yeah.
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 Okay. Cool.
So
cool.
we have Reviving Hollow Bastion, and that's the song like from their world.
So good.
And
Leon.
then we have a song called Sinister Shadows. And this song plays at sort of multiple points when you're fighting Heartless throughout the game, but it plays at one of the biggest, most important Heartless fights in the game, which I don't want to tell anyone about
Yeah.
because it's kind of an amazing moment in Hollow Bastion where you're like, wait, I'm actually going to fight that?
I mean, yeah.
You're like
but
looking down from a mountain.
it's kind of like spoiling Citizen Kane. It's like
Yeah.
you're so late. You might as well just say what it is. You
That's
guys, if you
valid.
haven't played it,
Still,
like,
I love when people can see that for the first time. You're like just looking down from a mountain. You're like,
It's like,
wow,
huh,
that's amazing. And then it's like, okay, now let's go fight him. Wait, what?
excuse
you
me?
just run, just run
Yeah.
down there.
And honestly, the mechanics of that fight make it so much simpler than it seems like it would be.
Oh yeah.
That-
You're basically just spamming reversals and
I was
stuff.
gonna say you're talking about the army scene, right?
Oh yeah.
There's literally basically super big description so that Steven cannot take the fall for this if anybody comes at him. I will say this. But you fight like an army of 1,000 enemies, and you just
Actually,
see like
1,000.
yeah, actually 1,000.
They
like
only
your
attack
goal-
you maybe 10 or 20, 15,
But,
something like that at a time.
Like you
but-
think you're going to
Yeah.
be overwhelmed by these enemies, and like Steven said, you look over the crowd, and it's like there's 1,000 of them down there, and you're like, dang, that must suck to be down there. And they're like, yeah, it's gonna suck because we're going down there.
Because we're doing it.
Yeah, it's like, I beg your absolute pardon.
Yeah.
I just had trouble fighting 4 of these guys.
Excuse me?
Yeah, but the whole setup is
Yeah,
so
so
much
fun.
simpler than you think.
So cool.
Like
So
all,
fun.
all the Heartless that they end up sending at you have really easy reversals, which
Yeah,
is pretty
so
much
cool.
they come at you, you hit a button at a certain point in time,
Yeah.
and then you use them to wipe out like 20 others.
Yeah.
So it ends up going a lot faster and a lot easier than you'd think. So I have those for us. And then right after that, we won't end up coming back in between. But right after Sinister Shadows ends, we're going to go into the music splice that I put together. This is very similar to what I did with Kingdom Hearts 1 last season. And
boy.
it's what it is one song from each of the Disney worlds that you go to. Now, last season it was a little easier, like I said, because a lot of these songs were almost direct rip from the movies. This season I decided to go with this is the song that they made for their version of that Disney World that is more in the style of that movie rather than direct rip. Though, like I was saying to Supremus earlier, there is one that's like straight direct ripped, and I expect almost everyone will get that one.
We'll see.
So that's what we're gonna do now. Reviving Hollow Bastion, Sinister Shadows, and then straight into the splice of a bunch of songs. So I invite anyone who wants to play along, go ahead and play along. Let's see how many you guys can get. And we will be back right after that. And we are back. Put your pen down, Remus.
Stop.
Hands down. Okay.
Okay,
Are
listen.
we ready?
All right.
Are we ready for our answers?
I told you it was a little more difficult because it wasn't direct rip from the movie, except for one, which everybody got immediately.
Okay, so
let me put this out here right now.
Go ahead.
If I get everything wrong, I'm not stupid, I swear.
Okay.
If I get everything wrong, I'm not stupid.
So the way we want to play it in the studio is, are you gonna say it and then we'll just say I got it right, or do you want me to say my guess?
We'll do it the same way we did last time with Supremus and Noob, where we'll see what you guys got, and everyone at home, go ahead and play along with us if you want. So what did you guys put down for the first one?
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yes. The song is called Waltz of the Damned.
Okay.
Second one?
Mulan.
Home of Dragons. Yep. And third one?
Third one, Olympus, specifically the underworld.
I didn't put anything down.
You're right.
Specifically the underworld of Olympus.
The third one was from Hercules, Olympus, and it was the underworld music.
I should have known that.
The fourth one, you seemed real confident about this.
I was pretty much 100% confident, but I, again, now, like I said, could be wrong. I thought it was Mickey's Kingdom. Wasn't Mickey Kingdom.
I thought it was the
Twilight Town?
Steamboat.
You were right. It's Steamboat Willie.
Yes.
It's kind of Mickey's Kingdom, but it's very different music between the two.
I thought the second one was Steamboat Willie.
You get to Steamboat Willie through Mickey's Kingdom.
Yeah.
But the music's very different. That's
also,
specifically
I lost my list
Steamboat
because I
Willie.
Out of it, so.
Okay, so the song was called Monochrome Dreams.
Yep.
And the next one?
The Mickey's Kingdom then? Because, I don't know, I didn't write anything down. Wait, what number were we on?
Do you have your list
lost
still
my list.
around?
No,
what number were we on?
5.
Yeah, no, I didn't write anything down. I was just guessing from your previous conversation that was confusing me.
All right.
I lost my list.
Okay, so that was Winnie the Pooh.
Okay, yeah.
That was songs called Bounce-A-Rama.
I think I remember what I put for the next one.
What'd you get for the next one?
Little Mermaid?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got Little Mermaid too.
Yeah, Little Mermaid, and that song is called Let's Sing and Dance, which is great because they have a section where they actually sing to the song, and I knew if I threw that in there, everyone would get it, so I didn't use that one.
Yeah.
Because as soon as Ariel starts singing, everyone's going to be like,
well,
I know what this is.
Ariel, I see.
And the next one I think everyone got.
I didn't put anything down for 7.
You didn't put anything down for 7? Was that Halloween Town?
You didn't put anything down for the one after Little Mermaid?
No.
Was that
That
Halloween
was Pirates
Town?
of the Caribbean.
No, it wasn't?
Yeah, it was.
I must have misnumbered things.
I think you misnumbered things. Right after Little Mermaid was Pirates
I have that Pirates of the Caribbean as the one after 7, so I think I just put
I thought 7 was Halloween Town.
No. After Pirates, what did you get for the one after that?
I don't even... There's a question mark. I don't remember what it sounded like, but I put Aladdin.
Was this the last one?
No.
No.
Oh, no, then Aladdin.
No.
Yeah, Aladdin,
after
the
Pirates was Aladdin.
Okay.
And that's A Day in Agrabah. And then after Aladdin was...
Nightmare.
Is this the last one?
After Aladdin was Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes!
Okay, then yeah.
Okay.
So
and
I didn't keep track. But
Spooks of Halloween Town. And
Cool.
then after Nightmare Before Christmas,
Is this
don't
the last
know.
one?
this is second to last.
I have
Second to last.
no idea
Hold
what
on,
was after
wait.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Pride Lands,
Yep.
right?
Lion
Pride
King.
Lands. Lion King.
Oh,
Pride
yeah.
Lands.
Adventure in
didn't-
the Savannah.
I didn't get that
Lion
at
King
all.
Pride
And the
Lands.
very last one that we had,
Tron.
yes,
Tron. How to be Tron.
And that
I
song was
wouldn't
called...
know that song anywhere.
That song was called Bite Striking. Bite, of course, being computer bite.
Yeah.
But
That was the only song that I genuinely recognized just because of how much I heard it.
spent a lot of time there.
Yep. Okay. I did do better than I thought, but I still...
All right, crew.
We messed up some of the numbering, and Brandon completely lost his list halfway through.
Yeah.
There we go.
So during the...
I personally.
Oh, yeah.
I personally must go.
Yep, B-Millie's
sure.
got to ditch us.
Yeah, gotta go. But thank you for having me for most of the Kingdom Hearts episode. I appreciate it. I love the game so much. Kingdom Hearts 2 is the best one.
Unfortunately, this is my last semester at the radio station, or we'd probably do 3 next semester.
Yeah. Ugh. So good. All right. Thank you guys. Enjoy Critical Hits. It's the best, obviously.
Yep.
Obviously.
With the best game.
And we will be seeing you again next week, B-Millie.
Of course you will.
And
for the full time.
we're not done with the show yet, but I will say that I believe from next week on, I'll be moving my show to 1:30 on Tuesdays rather than 1 o'clock on Tuesdays. It'll give us more time to set up in between Justin's show ending and my show starting, and also get our A students on for the news. Just walk away already. Stop making a scene of it.
Oh, that booty, though.
Oh
boy.
All right, so in the first season, in the first Kingdom Hearts, we ended up talking a lot about the voice actors. And a lot of that was kind of off the cuff stuff because none of us were really sure about a lot of things. So this time, when I knew we were going to go into Kingdom Hearts 2, I decided to sort of do a quick look into the voice actors, which ended up being a deep dive into the voice actors because of all the information that was there.
Pretty much the only voice actor that are not like, you know, the like typical Disney characters I know is Sora.
Mm-hmm. So
the only one.
Of course, many of the original voice actors from the first Kingdom Hearts return. Haley Joel Osment, Sora.
Yes.
David Gallagher is Riku, and Hayden Panettiere is Kairi.
I forgot that she was Kairi. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we mentioned this last time we did this, and I still forgot. Just because, like, I'm so used to her in other things that my brain, like, just disconnects.
Yeah, so anyway. New ones for this game included Jesse McCartney, who's Roxas.
Oh.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah. And then Brittany Snow as Naminé, who's a character we haven't really talked about too much, but she's also very important to the story, just like Roxas is, and also disappears for long periods of time in the story. Christopher Lee as Diz.
Huh. Okay.
His voice really fits the character.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then they say that a special effort was made to preserve the official voice actors from the Disney movies used in Kingdom Hearts 2. So many of the actors from the movies actually reprised their Disney roles.
Mandy Moore, right?
And for that, we have Ming Na as Mulan.
Uh-huh.
And James Woods as Hades.
Right.
Bruce Boxleitner as Tron. I freaking love Bruce Boxleitner, man. It's just I've always known him as Tron pretty much, and I really like him. And Zach Braff as Chicken Little.
I didn't know that Chicken Little.
I think Chicken Little's a summon in this game, so you don't go to like Chicken Little World. But yeah.
Oh, that's a blessing.
So in some places where they couldn't get the original voice actors for the movies, things like that, they would try to go for ones that were in like related television series, things of that sort. For
sure.
Right? So, or the direct-to-video sequels for some Disney movies. So in that case, we ended up with Robert Costanzo as Phil from Hercules.
Right.
And then we got, that's rather than like Danny DeVito or Cam Clark who had voiced him. Or no, Robert sorry. Completely lost my train of thought there. Danny DeVito. And we also end up with Cam Clark as Simba instead of Matthew Broderick, who was the voice in the movie.
Gotcha.
And then I also ended up with a big list of characters that were given new voice actors. Like who had been in the previous one, but now they got a new voice actor for the second game. And so that's Ansem, who is the big bad from the first one, was originally voiced by Billy Zane in the first one. And this time he's voiced by Richard Epcar, who has been Raiden and Joker in like Mortal Kombat and DC stuff.
Oh, I well know Raiden.
Yes, and he's also in Skyrim and Final Fantasy XIV and a bunch of other voices going all the way back to Galarian's in 2000, which is kind of a thing that I'm interested in, but I think very few people ever played Galarians.
Yeah,
it's weird and interesting, not. And Aerith, who was voiced by Mandy Moore in the first one, ends up being voiced by Mina Suvari in this one. And she's mostly film and television. The only really big, like, noteworthy game credit she has is as Aerith. And I noticed a lot of the fans weren't a big fan of Aerith into the voice.
That makes sense.
The voice just didn't work
Mandy
as well
Moore
into.
is just hard to replace, honestly.
Yeah. And then Leon, who, I love this because it goes back to an old conversation a long time ago me and you had. You know who the voice actor was for Leon in 1?
I don't remember.
David Boreanaz.
Oh. Freaking angel.
Yep. So in 2, he ends up getting replaced by Doug Erholtz, who does Squall Leon's voice in like all the modern stuff. So he's not just here in Kingdom Hearts, but also in like the Dissidia games and any other places where Squall has a voice actor. Doug Erholtz seems to do that. He also was the voice of Asuma Sarutobi in Naruto and Gin Ichimaru in Bleach. And he's got a bunch of other credits for anime and movies and games and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
And then we have Sephiroth, who was voiced in 1 by Lance Bass.
Ah.
I didn't remember that either.
Yeah,
because his voice was good in 1, and I just don't picture that for Lance Bass.
True.
And in this one, he's voiced by George Newbern, who, much like Doug Erholtz, he voices Sephiroth like everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? He voices Sephiroth in Dissidia. Here, he does it in Crisis Core. And he also does voices for, like, Superman and Injustice in the DC Universe games.
Oh, rad.
Yeah. And then we have Hercules, who was voiced in the first game by Sean Astin.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Which
in this one...
so funny to me.
Yeah.
My baby.
So in this one, he was actually replaced by Tate Donovan, who was Hercules' original voice actor from the movie and the show and all that. But aside from this, he mostly does film and television stuff. He mostly just came into games to voice Hercules for games that Hercules was in.
He was on Friends. That's literally the only live action thing I know him to have been in is Friends.
And then a complete newcomer to the second game was Tifa from Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Who was voiced by Rachel Lee Cook, who voices Tifa in most places, which, again, for Final Fantasy VII, that's, like, obviously not in the original game. They didn't have voices then, but they've done a lot of stuff that gave those characters from, like, 7 and 8 and those older games voices later on. In the case of 7 especially, they have characters in Dissidia, they're Dirge of Cerberus, Crisis Core, Advent Children, all those expanded FF7 universe stuff.
Yeah.
And so she voices Tifa in like all of that stuff. And she also did voices in the Yakuza series, and specifically the very first game, and also in Star Wars The Old Republic, the multiplayer, the online multiplayer one.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Yeah.
I love that game.
So we end up with a whole lot of characters, a lot of returning voices, a lot of changed voices, and just this whole list of like a new cast that's like, oh, we'll get this person from the movie. Well, this person voiced it in a show. Let's get them over here. Or like, you know, this person is a decent voice actor impersonator of such and such. Let's get them coming in from all over the place. But it's a huge, like, real star-studded cast.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
The amount of money that just had to go into the voice actor hiring stuff for the Kingdom Hearts series must be insane.
I can't imagine how much money went into the third one. Because then they got like a lot more of the like original voices for the third one.
Yeah, a lot of the original voice actors doing this stuff for the third one, and just so many characters. One of the other things people had a problem with in like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 that gets really resolved in 3 is the emptiness of the worlds. You would go to the Disney worlds in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and they're just like abandoned aside from the main characters that you're interacting with. And every single world in 3 has like dozens of just villagers standing around that you can interact with that don't really do anything to the overall story, but they're there and you can talk to them and you can put on weird little like street performances for them to get money and stuff.
That's so nice. I love that.
So they just packed all these worlds. Now that they're working with Unreal 4, I believe, they had so much power. They could just like pack all these worlds full and get all the graphics really amazing and all that stuff. So,
man, I really want to play it.
Well, if you have an Xbox One, I can probably lend it to you when I'm done playing it.
I don't have an Xbox One. I play PS4.
Yeah. All right. I think I've covered most stuff. So we can probably move into our third block of music.
Ooh.
And for that, we have more of the finishing section of the game. I've only got 2 songs for this third block. but it covers kind of the final world you go to, which again isn't really a Disney or a Final Fantasy thing. By the time you get to the end of the games, you're on literally original Kingdom Hearts storylines and places and characters and all that. So this is Sacred Moon, and it's the theme song for that final world that you go to, and then we will move into A Fight to the Death, which is one of the theme songs for the final boss, because being a Square Enix game, the final boss has 12 transformations and 12 boss fights and a dozen songs that are all similar but different depending on which form of the boss you're fighting.
Yeah.
So I just chose the one that I liked out of them. And then we'll come back to say our farewells and any last minute information we may have forgotten or missed or whatever. And then we'll move on to our outro. So we will be back in just a little bit.
Woohoo!
cut out on me a little sooner than I expected. But we are back.
Yes.
And I think we have covered everything we need to cover about the Kingdom Hearts 2. It's a lot of games, right?
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 1 and then 1 or 2 games in between, and then Kingdom Hearts 2, and then there's like a 13-year gap. So they put like 10 games in there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of story. There's a lot of stuff that's interesting. It's not too hard to get into as long as you don't try and throw yourself at 3. Although, honestly, some of the problems people have been bringing up with 3 is that it caters to people who haven't played the other games a little too much. They're constantly repeating stuff where you're like, okay, I got it the first time.
Yike. Oh, well.
But it's fun. All the different worlds you go to and all the different Keyblades and all the transformations and all the other stuff. Just the moment-to-moment playing of that game and the combat and all that just feels really fun.
Yes.
So, unfortunately, I will never get the chance to cover that game with you guys.
Big sad.
Most likely. Unless I come back for a D semester or something. I don't know.
We'll see.
Who knows? But Kingdom Hearts 1 was great. Kingdom Hearts 2 is great. And we got a chance to actually have B. Millie on with us for most of it. So finally he got onto a Kingdom Hearts episode.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
And got to actually play the game with me.
Yeah. Except that he completely lost his list halfway through.
But he still remembered a lot
It's
of
like,
them, so.
oops, my list closed on me. I'm like, it doesn't save? What? Oh, well.
Oh, B.
Maybe
Millie.
he should have been writing it down on a note like you were.
Right?
All right.
I'm the smart one. Just kidding.
Okay, I think that'll be all from us today.
Beautiful.
Like I said before, I'm going to leave you guys with another Utada Hikaru song, the one that she created for Kingdom Hearts 2. And so this song is called Sanctuary, and we will be seeing you guys next week. Again, the show Tuesdays, and from next week on, I believe it'll be 1:30 p.m. every Tuesday.
Woohoo!
So join us for Critical Hits. And maybe I'll even put on the promo for my show that I had to make afterwards, and we can listen to it once we're done. All right. We will see you guys next week. We'll probably see Supremus again next week.
Probably.
Most likely. Unless I choose a horrible game.
Yeah,
then
unless
he'll
you
be
choose
like,
a game that
"Forget
I'm
you."
like, nah.
Yeah, but we should be seeing B. Millie again next week. I believe he's planning to co-host this with me pretty much all the way through. So,
Woohoo!
barring horrible health concerns like he seems to have from time to time, we should be seeing him every week.
Yeah.
And I should be here every week as well, unless we're doing a remote or something,
Yeah.
which would be unfortunate.
So we're trying to avoid doing those on Mondays.
Not Monday, Tuesday. We're actually trying to focus doing them on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so there's a good chance I might miss some episodes this semester. But that's okay.
We'll see.
We'll do what we do when we do it.
Indeed.
Burn that bridge when we get there.
Exactly.
All right.
All right.
We are heading out. I will leave you guys with Sanctuary by Utada Hikaru.